out when, like she couldn't keep it in. It would probably be like a situation like she couldn't keep it in any longer because it was like battlefield.
Oh, you gotta go,
like,
you gotta go.
Yeah, that type of thing.
Well, it is pretty perfect because she ends up in Dahara, in a place she's been before with in a literal army there to keep her safe. And she's got nothing to do because she has to sit and heal. And it's like the perfect time to have a baby. I mean, even though she's injured. My only real concern with this was that baby dragon, whatever his or her name would be, after hatching, unless maybe she's got to sit on it for a while, maybe it's fine then. But I was going to say, this dragon hatches and then mom is just sitting there because mom can't fly or like go anywhere to watch after her youngin', and her youngin' takes off and like burns villages and eats people and cows and creates a fucking problem.
No, it's just like baby Norbert. It's just like little. It's fine.
Well, he almost burned down Hagrid's house too.
That's true, but
dragons are not toys. I guess that's a lesson.
I'm just saying.
Now we all know.
If Scarlet kept this egg in after she popped out Gregory, and she's been holding it this whole time.
Oh my god.
This dragon's been doing some fucking Kegels or something. I don't know. She's got some muscles.
That rhino, the rhino. I was going to say that turtle head poking out. It's got to be the size of a rhino. Like, that's not easy.
Jesus.
I don't think he's going to help you with that at all. That's going to be a fucking thing. Can you imagine if you were the soldier who was, like, there for that?
No.
She's like, oh, thank you. I got some food and some water. Hey, hang on a second. Dragon, check that out. By the way, this is your responsibility. Don't let this crack or anything happen to it, or I eat you.
Also, that scary dude just told you that you had to take care of me, and now look what it did. So now we're going to get into a few snippets of some of the emails that were sent to us for our Children of Dahara contest. We got a lot of emails in, and they said a lot of really inspirational, awesome stories, and we don't have time to share all of them. So we just went through and we picked out some of the little snippets that really spoke to me and Nate.
Right. It's weird being on this side of things because so much of the time Jade and I are just talking into a void. Like it's not a real-time conversation. So, we ask for these things from you guys because we are a little bit curious. And then we get these fantastic responses. And it really puts into light that those numbers that we look at, right, at the end of the month, those are all people. And chances are, if you're reading a good, kind novel and you're into it and you're a fan, that's for a reason. And so, like, just from the things it taught you or the things it taught you about life or helped you deal with things or just, like, literally, the reasons are endless. But they're all important to somebody out there. And it's interesting for us to, like, get that viewpoint. Because it's important to Jade and I for a certain reason, but download number 30 whatever has a really fucking important reason too.
Yeah.
And that's my bread and butter. I love reading these things so much.
And I think that's another thing that's cool too, is that, yeah, every person's reason is different, but there's like so many common threads for everybody that tie us to it. Like a lot of us have very different stories. They're not similar, but they are. Like, I don't know. It's interesting to me hearing other people's stories because while they are all very different, there is a lot of common themes throughout them. And it makes sense why we all gravitated towards these books.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's quite a few intentional lessons put into these books for one, and that can cover a really wide range of situations. Like, even just in the act of reading in itself, which I think one of these is about, the ability to kind of pull yourself out of whatever situation you're in. It's not about a life lesson. It's about an escape.
Yeah.
And it's really beautiful things like that. That might be born out of a bad situation. But that's why we asked for what he gave to you. Because, in a way, Terry gave all of us something. And I mean, other than the books.
It's something so much bigger than the books.
Yeah, so much more important. And it's really incredible. You have these fandoms of people who love Star Wars or Harry Potter. I mean, we love Harry Potter too, but people get into those things, and I feel like it has less depth than these books. And maybe I'm off base, but that's kind of the way I feel.
Yeah, I just think they hit you in a different way than some of the other stuff. Like, those things can be heavy and hard too, but not in the same way.
Right. And I think specifically with, like we said, all of the lessons that come with these books.
Well, Terry wasn't afraid to go to a dark place.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, the truth of the matter is a lot of people are in dark places, and this book served as quite a bit of light.
Yes.
And that's inspiring. Yes. That's really fucking cool. So we're not going to read names. We're going to read some bits of these emails because we don't want to put anybody on blast. And I know I just referenced an email we got that did have to do with getting out of a bad situation and having some pretty severe anxiety, it sounds like. As a result, and these books did offer that person an escape. And like that was closest home for me. Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. I feel like maybe they were sent with the intent that it was fine to share. I just don't feel like it's my place to share somebody else's story. Especially because we do things with so much levity here. I'm not versed in how to deliver serious content without making it light, I don't think, or I don't know. I just don't want to do somebody a disservice. So that's my main thing. I invite anybody who wants to share their story on our page to do so. If you feel confident enough to share it with everybody, feel confident enough, because I know that everybody else here is going to support you for it. And, right. I'm not going to be okay with anybody not supporting it. So if you feel confident enough to share it, I don't have any problems with you sharing it. And I would love for you to share it with everybody. I just don't want to do it myself because it just feels weird for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it would be. So we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with those emails right after this. All right, we are back. We've got our refills, and we are ready to get into some emails. So this one, again, we're not going to name names. If you recognize yours, then, hey, we feel you. So this one says, the most prevalent concept that seeped into my brain early on is that nothing is ever easy. And most importantly, to think of the solution, not the problem.
Some of Nate's favorites.
That one is huge. Without getting too deep into it, I guess, I suffer from OCD. I am very picky about things, and when a situation that's difficult to handle presents itself to me, it's easy for me to spiral, to put it lightly. And so by thinking of the solution, I can kind of break that spiral and figure out a better way for me to deal with that. And like this one is on the list because of that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have to be able to do this too. It's very, very important for me to function as a human.
Yes.
So I feel you there too. And this says, looking back through the years, I'm more than grateful to have had such an important reminder, either consciously or subconsciously, while facing real life problems. I describe myself as a problem solver, and I think Terry's wise words greatly contributed to that.
Yeah. This email, actually, this was a longer email, and I enjoyed every part of it. She talked about how Terry's strong female characters really helped her through some of her rougher parts of her life. And she also, at the very end, said, most recently, Terry gave me something quite unexpected. A community of book friends. I'm an introvert to my core, quiet and private, and preferring to observe and learn before interacting, which actually despite what you might think from this podcast, I'm actually a lot like that. I don't like to talk to people very much.
That's true.
But here I can, because just like me and Nate, and then you guys. It's like a private little thing. But
It was a
great.
whole thing. When we started this, Jade was like, we should have a podcast, except I don't want to talk to people.
Yeah, I don't want them to hear me.
This isn't going to work. And
that's why the beer happened.
The beer, and I'm an audio nerd, so it's like, oh, we can totally make this happen. Like, I know how to do it. And it is cool to watch, because as we get emails, Jade, like, takes a, no, I'll answer this one. That's fine. And taking steps in your own way. So,
Yeah.
like,
You
it's
guys
cool.
are helping me talk to people, and you don't even know it.
Right. We're dealing with this right now.
Social media anxiety is being not cured. It's not cured, but I'm doing things with it. But so the email went on to say, I never expected that there would be strangers on the internet who I would come to know and talk to and share with. Being a part of this community is special. Certainly, Terry Goodkind was a rare person because he was able to do all this.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I fucking loved that. Like, that means so much to read that. And like, yes. I feel like that's like the spirit of what we're doing here. And just yes, again.
So much yes. I like that one too. We both had a really good connection with that one. And I think that's really, really cool. So this next one says that I liked the characters, but never really had a favorite in the beginning. However, over the years, I've realized that I liked Nikki the most because her trials started to strike close to home. Reading Nikki's story over and over slowly helped me work my way out along with therapy. I still struggle some days, but thinking of the way Nikki was able to recognize her worth is inspirational to me. I strive to be as strong as her and not allow others to bring me down anymore. And I think, it's not truly self-explanatory because everybody's story is different, but like strength, knowing your worth, these are all very, very important things that, look, these aren't 12 wizards rules, or there's more than that, but like, it's not like that. These are just things that happen in these stories that really, really resonate with people. Like, hey, you're alive. You should kind of love yourself because you're special just for being alive.
Yeah. Like, this, it's yours.
Yes.
And nobody else is going to do that for you.
Right. And, you know, I guess in a way, these aren't things that people tell you because, I don't know, as a person, like, these are things that are just kind of a given. So nobody ever really does look at you and say, hey, you know what? Keep going, because you're pretty fucking cool. And not even as lightly as that. You're worth it as a person to, like, care for yourself and do good for yourself because you're worth it. Because you're a person. Because you're worth it. And the cycle goes on and on and on. Yeah. And, like, people don't always feel like that's the case for them because of whatever situation. I'm
special, but not in the way that makes me special.
I'm special in a bad way.
Yeah, I'm special in the way that I'm fucked up more than everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, people have issues, but don't think for a second that, you know, you're not worth the trouble it's going to take to solve whatever problem.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah, no, this one resonates with both of us as well because, you know, we both have a history and we don't have to get into that here. But man, reading these things are like looking into our own brains a little bit. And this one really hit home for me too. I don't know if you could say I enjoyed reading it, but like I understand it.
There's a weird enjoyment that comes with it, and I don't think that's. It sounds bad to say, but I don't think it is.
Well, it's not a level that we normally reach to on this podcast. We try and keep it light. We try and keep it, you know, entertaining. But we're people too, and we have deepness. And reading about somebody else's deepness that's the same kind of like, oh my God, you know, we're really not that alone.
Well, I think that's what it is. Maybe it's not enjoyment. Maybe it's a little bit of comfort reading some emails like this. Because, yeah, it just, you connect a little bit. So, another one this is actually a sentiment that I know a lot of people share when they read, especially through to the